Hi everyone, I'm Mirela Ciobanu, senior editor with The Papers, and today we are sitting with ACI Worldwide Basant Singh to talk about how bridging blockchain and crypto to the e-commerce and merchants ecosystem can unlock new payment rails and drive revenue. Basant is a highly experienced payments industry executive and has more than 20 years of experience spanning payments, fintech, and consulting services. And mostly, Basant has been a contributor to our crypto payments and Web3 for banks, merchants, and PSPs report. And we highly thank him for his valuable contribution and for being with us today. How are you, Basant?
I'm doing good, Mirella. How are you?
Well, I was looking forward for this interview because as mentioned before, I know that you have an extended experience in crypto. But first thing first, when did you first hear about cryptocurrencies?
So I heard first thing about the cryptocurrency in 2012, right when blockchain was a fraction of dollars, and there are few of my enthusiastic friends who are buying as an investment and predicting this is the future. And at that point, right, it was a new instrument. I was very skeptical. And being a payment guy, I really want to go through what is the technology, what it is, going in a depth before embracing it, and that's what I did. And I also started invested around 2014, 2015, watching the trend, watching how the development happening in this area. And I'm really fascinated with the technology, not the cryptocurrency as much, but the technology as a blockchain is a key here. And it has a lot of potential to solve the business issues and the challenges we have today with the traditional payment rail. So that's why I'm really fascinated towards the technology blockchain. Crypto is the token which is used for a transaction. But I'm not using crypto because many people has a different view on a crypto versus the technology. So focus should remain on the technology, which is blockchain.
Okay, so I wanted to, because you mentioned that indeed in the beginnings and also now the focus is mostly on investment. And I wanted to ask if you bought anything with crypto, but I see that you are truly focusing on the technology aspect. So I
Yeah.
leave it up to you if you want to say if you bought anything with crypto or not.
Oh, definitely, right? Crypto is a mean, right? So today, if you look at, right, the most emerging trend which is happening in terms of adopting, right? So adoption will not happen until consumer uses on a day-to-day basis, right? And it becomes a day-to-day payment mean or one of the another payment methods. And this is the two trends we are seeing today,
But
right?
yeah,
Right.
but
And so crypto is very important, right? Crypto is a mean on a blockchain to do the transactions or to communicate. So crypto and the blockchain goes side by side, right? You cannot change it, but I'm just making sure we are in alignment that blockchain is the basis and the blockchain is the core technology which has the power, and crypto is the mean to communicate P2P or peer to peer, right? Or exchange the information, exchange the value, and so forth.
have you bought yourself something with crypto?
Oh yeah, means I started buying cryptos from 2015. I have a retirement account where I invest 2% of my retirement money in crypto. So I don't want to use the term. Like, there is a company which does that IRA, and they have the mean in a USA, very legitimate IRS approved company. So I invest 2% of my retirement money on a crypto.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That yeah, you are also doing what you're preaching. Now
Yeah.
returning to your contribution to our crypto payments and Web3 for banks, merchants, PSPs report. In
Yeah.
a way, you kind of highlight, yeah, some of the thoughts you shared within the report that using the technology as a basis for all this innovation happening in the
Yeah.
crypto space. But can you give more insights regarding your contribution and why should readers have a look?
So what is happening today is the adoption, right? And adoption of another emerging payment method. If you look at, right, how the payment is evolving, right, we are moving from traditional credit card, debit card. Now it is it is like growing at a pace, the wallets, peer to peer payment. And every e-commerce, every merchant want to enable as much wallet and other alternative payment means on their website to give sufficient option to the consumer to buy products and do business with their brand. And one of the mean is the crypto is another payment method which is emerging. Today, what we see, consumer, they are not looking crypto as a just an investment mean, which I started with, right? They are also using it for a crypto payment, and we also launched as a ACI crypto payment, and we see a good amount of a transaction, high value transaction, coming through to our system, and people are using crypto. And now every region has a different adoption, and it all depend upon how the government is adopting in this country. And if you look at the trend, every government is now coming up with their own digital backed currency. We call it CBDC. India launched just now, CBDC, and they are doing the piloting. China is ahead of the game. US signed the executive order, but they are not ready potentially with CBDC. So potentially they are gonna back some existing stable coin as a CBDC. So that's adoption will happen, and eventually every country will have a regulation. Now, when I say regulation, people assume that regulation is a bad thing. Regulation is really a good thing for crypto, because we need to take out all the bad actors, right, in that ecosystem, and making sure it is safe for all the end consumer, and for the merchant and so forth. So this is how the whole emerging trend is happening, and we as an ACI also is investing into this newer technology, newer rail, newer payment, and providing these new payment methods to our customers, right? So it is very important payment method which is emerging, and which will basically be has a potential to be one of the key payment methods in a future, as government will adopt and speed up the adoption.
Yeah. So what I see you like about crypto, this its potential of becoming a payment method.
Exactly.
Then you also mentioned that in a way blockchains are not only bridging, let's say, the crypto space with e-commerce and merchants, but also with governments and with helping
Correct.
populations. And here we're thinking about CBDCs. But what other features do you like about this space, about crypto?
So the other feature about the crypto is the underlying the blockchain technology. It is very secure, right? It is written on a ledger. You cannot basically hack that. You don't, if you are using a blockchain payment, or a crypto payment, you don't need to have worry about the fraud. You don't need to worry about the chargeback. Don't have to worry about the FX rate. If you are doing in a cross border kind of a payment. So that's very important, right? So today, if you look at, right, for a traditional credit card, debit card transaction, every merchant invest on a fraud, right? Because and that's a huge amount of the money they invest, right, to avoid the chargebacks, and the chargebacks are generally, the data is for every $1, it is $3, right? So basically, that is where the blockchain is superficial. It is beneficial for the merchant. It is beneficial for a consumer. It is a low cost payment method, right? And it is in a peer to peer. It is instant. You can basically transfer the value of the money from one to another instantly, right? It is a real time, one of the real time payment means.
Yeah, and I remember we had the previous meeting to prepare the report. You also mentioned about its potential to, let's say, to bridge our present to Web3 to more advanced, let's say, experiences like the metaverse. Can you, yeah, maybe expand on this
So,
idea?
the metaverse is today is a very good concept, right? If you look at and what is happening today, right? If you look at all the consumer, because their shopping behavior is so changed, they're adopting e-commerce, right? All these merchant want to provide every consumer a similar experience on a e-commerce, like as if like they are shopping in their brick and mortar store, and vice versa. If they are going into the store, merchant focus is consumer should have a seamless payment, seamless experience, as if they are doing the shopping in a e-commerce. So because of the liquidity, right? Because consumer experience and the expectation is changing, and it changed especially after the COVID. So if you don't provide those kind of experience, consumer is not coming back to your brand and do the shopping again. It is all about how you can increase the loyalty with your brand by providing the seamless experiences. And that's where, I see metaverse is playing a big role. Metaverse has a potential to provide in-store experience in a digital commerce, and that's where I see metaverse will be taking one of the places and the sweet spot in a retail business next year. Like it will be tied up with the augmented reality and the metaverse and the payment and so forth. So that will provide a seamless experience for a consumer, and that will basically increase the loyalty for the customer. On the other hand, there are the industry like gaming, gaming and gambling. They will be adopting those metaverse, right? Because they will feel like they are gambling as if like they're sitting in a casino and playing. So there are some set of industry which will be much more beneficial. They will be the early adopter because those experience will help them increase their business and the revenue, right, with the customer sitting virtually any part of the world. That is very important aspect.
Yeah. And since you kind of highlight many of the trends to watch out for in the next year regarding regulation, where to innovate,
Yep.
I'm returning a bit to the report we collaborated on, and would ask you to, yeah, maybe share within a phrase what would be your recommendation for people to read it and download?
So so
Why is
so
this
if you
topic relevant at the end of the day, this crypto
so
payments?
if you are a business providing a different payment to consumer, if you are a technology firm looking for a new payment, new or solving some of the problem merchant has or your customer has using the blockchain, you should definitely download this report. You will hear different views on how the crypto payments are emerging, how the blockchain is helping solving the problem which has not been solved in a traditional payment. This is very important product report where you will have views from different executives who are investing in this technology to solve the problem for the customer. So if you are a business, read this, or you are skeptical about the crypto payment, whether you should have the crypto payment and provide it to your consumer, you should definitely read and see that it has come to a maturity level. It has come to a level where you can provide a easy way of a crypto payment that that my grandmother can also use it. That's where now the technology is. It reached to that level of sophistication. You should definitely read, get confident about what this technology is, and you can provide it to your customer and solve your business problem.
Thank you, Basant. You convinced me. I'll go back and read it again.
Thanks, Virendra.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your thoughts. And we look forward to a follow-up story to our interview, and working with you on the next edition of the report.
Sure, Mirela, and it was really nice working with you and providing my view and perspective on this technology.